Welcome back to the channel, and I'm here with another Slow 6 fix. So today we're going to be working on fixing a coolant leak from a heater hose on the ST today. So this is a 2015 Ford Focus ST. They're all the same from 13 to 18 or whatever the last year they made them was. I would assume the regular Ford Focuses might be the same, but I'm not sure because it's a different motor. So let me show you what we're doing. All right, so if you happen to notice a slow leak or a slow diminishing of your coolant is a closed system, so it's going somewhere. On these cars, it could potentially be coming out of the turbo. The turbos will start to leak and push coolant. Could be a head gasket issue, but on this, it's actually a frequent issue for it to leak out of these two hoses on the back of the firewall. So it's pretty hard to see, but they're going to be back in there. Let me see if I can zoom in on these. That's the wrong way. Oh yeah, lots of fun. Those puppies way in there. And as you can tell, they are not going to be very fun to get to. So step one, you're going to need to remove your plastic engine cover and then the intake tube, and then you'll have a little bit more room, and we'll show you. As far as parts go, you're going to need two hoses, KH902, KH901. These are the Motorcraft versions. You can also get them from various other brands. I bought the Motorcraft ones. They were like $60 for the two of them on Rock Auto. And I also bought this little tool to make my life easier. So I've actually replaced one of these hoses before. I'll show you a little bit later. They have these little twist lock things on the end. Makes them really hard to get off. This tool is meant to push in on the clips and get those off. It's Lisle. There's your part number. You'll see it's for the Ford 2.0. We'll see if that will make my life any easier or not. All right, so I got out one of the new hoses. So this is where you'll see they have these little push lock connectors, and then in there, and you can't really see it, there's actually an O-ring in there on like this part of the hose. That is what ends up actually leaking. So one of those stupid things where it's probably just something that makes the manufacturing process easier and then eventually leaks. And then this side, just a regular old metal hose clamp. Luckily for you, they have it loose when you buy the new one, so all you have to do is crimp that together and let it snap closed. So we're going to try and take these off. I'm probably not going to film that part. I think it's going to be hard to do, but I'll show you how the little tool works. All right, so once you remove the cover, you're just going to need to remove the intake tube. There's a few bolts. It's pretty easy to find. You got to pull this one off. There's one here. There's one here. You have to remove this coupler. You're not going to be able to get to the hoses without taking this off. So that's step one. All right, so you can't really see it, but to get this last piece of the intake tube off, there's a little clamp like way down in there. You're going to have to kind of shove your arm in there, and it's an 8mm clamp to be able to get this last piece of the intake tube off. All right, so we got the intake tube out. You'll notice right here and here, the coupler has like a little like step down sort of thing that kind of goes into the turbo. And then that clamp is actually a 7mm. I lied. It's a little tricky to get off, but it's not that bad. And now we're going to have access to our hoses. There you go. Let me zoom in for you a little. All right, so you're going to see there's a left hand and a right hand. There you go, focused. And you can see that wet spot on the wiring harness right below that left hand one. And I've actually replaced the right hand one once already. I don't think it's leaking, but I'm just going to do both of them so I don't have to do this again. I should have replaced them both the last time, and I'm a dummy and didn't do so. So here's where you're going to need that little tool to try and get these off. Now the other ends, you kind of follow the hose around. One of them is right there, if I remember correctly. And then the other one is a little further on the inside. I believe that's both of them. You just kind of have to follow the hoses. Those ones just have clamps, thankfully. All right, so as far as the tool goes, that's this little blue thing here. You're going to slide it on the tabs. And then what that's going to allow you to do is use these hooks to then twist the twist lock so you can pull it off. When I did this the last time, I didn't have this tool and I just used a pair of channel locks and it wasn't super easy. So I think this will make my life easier for sure. All right, so if you look at the right hand one, there's actually one of those twist lock things on both sides. And that other one is going to end up down right here. Kind of move that out of the way. There you go. So that's the other end of the right hand one. So you're going to need the little push connector for both sides. I will say that tool does make it a lot easier compared to the last time I did this. All right, finally got the other one off. I ended up having to break it to get this one. Ended up having to break the connector off. It was really stuck on there. So the reinstallation is just the reverse of that. Should be pretty easy. All right, so I have the new ones in. Pain in the butt. And then you just got to put everything back together. So kind of the reverse order. I did end up having to move the sound composer just to help get my arm in there a little bit. That's going to go back on, your air intake, all that fun stuff. I'm going to wrap this up, and then I got a part 2. All right, all finished up. Everything's back together. So there you have it. Pain in the ass. And you're going to tear your arms all up trying to reach everything in there. But it is what it is. That's another slow 6 fix for you.